Broadcasting live from the Victory Casino Cruises studio, this is Orlando's sports leader, FM 96.9 The Game, an iHeart radio station.
Welcome to Late Night Parents. I'm your host, Ted Hicks. We have a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk with game changers in the sports, technology, education fields. We even do product reviews and giveaways. Why, you ask? Because we're all parents. So if you're ready for an up-close and personal look, then you can check out our podcast. New episodes are available every Thursday. Catch us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. That's Late Night Parents. The site is latenightparents.com.
Time for some football. The new FM 96.9 The Game.
Golfers, the newly renovated world-class DeBerry Golf and Country Club is now open. Come play the best Tip Eagle Bermuda greens in Central Florida. DeBerry Golf and Country Club is a member of Club Corp, providing access to over 300 golf, dining, and tennis clubs nationwide. Play for a day or become a member with no initiation fee and 50% off dues for the rest of 2015. Rediscover DeBerry Golf and Country Club today. Call 386-668-1705. 386-668-1705.
Looking to expand your reach and following in all platforms of media? Need a jumpstart in expanding your brand to all markets across the world? SOFO is here for you. SOFO means something for everyone, and they help expand your business through all platforms of media. Need to grow on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram? Their experienced team expands your brand and puts your business in places you would have never been before. Call SOFO at 407-607-9862 or follow SOFOELLC on Instagram and Twitter.
You know International Diamond Center always guarantees the best selection and best price on any diamond. But did you know that IDC also offers the most value after the sale with the most innovative and consumer-friendly warranties and guarantees in the industry? Like free maintenance for life on any engagement ring sizing, free, rhodium finish, free, new prongs, free, appraisal, free, need a stone tightened, no charge. Even if you accidentally knock out an accent diamond, IDC will replace it at no charge. And while other jewelry stores require you to have your jewelry constantly inspected to keep a warranty intact, at International Diamond Center, inspections are not required. We stand behind what we sell. And when you're ready to upgrade that diamond, IDC will give you 110% of your original price toward the new diamond. That's right. We give you 10% more than you paid for your original diamond when you upgrade. Who else does that? International Diamond Center, taking consumer protection to a whole new level. Come see us today at any of our 5 Orlando locations. International Diamond Center, Orlando's direct diamond importer. See store for details.
Hey fans, this is Eric Kohler, stadium voice of UCF football. We invite you to tune in to EK Sports every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we feature the preferred picks of the week, insured by our good friends at Preferred Benefits Consultants, where it's always fun to pick those games of the week, but never a time to gamble with your health care. Find a Preferred Benefits Consultant at OrlandoHealthExchange.com. That's the letter X, OrlandoHealthExchange.com, and start saving today.
Here we go, yo. One time for your mind. You know we ball all day. Just know we talk ball all day. Welcome to the full court press. Full court press. We got Danny Thompson on the mic, so just chill with the set. Ball all day. Just know we talk ball all day. Welcome to the full court press. Full court press. We got Danny Thompson on the mic, so just chill with the set.
We are back for hour number 2 of Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELLC. I'm your host, Danny Thompson, hanging out with my crew tonight, Paul Myers. Paul, what's up, man?
Yo.
And my main man, Mark Johnson. Mark, what's up?
Well, it's either Mark or Darth Vader, one of the two.
Basically. 407-916-8255 is number here in Orlando, or toll free 800-729-8255. So for the remainder of the show tonight, we are talking everything Atlantic Division. So Knicks, Raptors, Sixers, the Boston Celtics, and that team in Brooklyn called the Brooklyn Nets. We're talking everything about those teams for the next 1 hour. So, guys, let's start out with the Atlantic Division. Last year, the Raptors won the division last year, and the Celtics made the playoffs. The Knicks, Actually, I think Brooklyn made the playoffs as well too. The Knicks, Sixers, yeah. Mark, I'm gonna lead off with you real quickly. If you're looking at you're a Sixers guy, so I'm gonna let you lead off with the Sixers. Who is the one guy on the Philadelphia 76ers that you need to watch out for this year?
Shoot, I think you got to start with the rook, Jahlil Okafor. I don't know if the team will play well, but I think he will play well. And I think he'll get better, as the season goes on. He's going to be a load to handle in the post, especially as he picks up the little nuances of the game. I think he'll be the guy to watch out for.
Well, Paul, who do you think who are you watching on the Sixers this year?
For me, it's I guess I'm partial because I'm a Carolina fan, but it's Kendall Marshall. I'd like to see what he does in that offense. He's a very obviously he's a pass first point guard. He's got some big men down there that he can work with. Covington's not a bad shooter, so he's got some floor spreading there. I just want to see what he does, man. It'll be nice for him to get an opportunity actually.
And for me, my guy in Philadelphia is Tony Wroten, actually. Guy played 30 games last year. The question with Tony Wroten is he a point guard or is he a two guard? And for me, they added Kendall Marshall. They still have Isaiah Cannon. So if he does go the two guard, you have, I'm not going to say superstar options, but if it doesn't work, that means Hollis Thompson or Robert Covington have to play the two guard position. So wherever Tony Wroten ends up, I think he's the guy to watch because he could be in that same Michael Carter Williams type situation where he's going to put up good numbers on a very, very, very bad team. So that's my thought process with the Sixers. And like I said, Wroten was at 16-6 a game last year. So before he got hurt, 30 games into the season. So what about the Brooklyn Nets? The Nets are a team that pretty much blew themselves up last year, and they don't have much left in the bucket. So, Mark, if you look at the Brooklyn Nets and you watch them on League Pass, who's the one guy you're watching out for?
Brooklyn Nets. It's probably, a multitude of guys, in my opinion. But my thing is, with Darren Williams gone, I want to see how that point guard situation is handled. They have a lot of guys. Jared Jack, he's the starter. Donald Sloan, good defensive player. Shane Larkin, he provides, a little bit of spunk. But let's see how that point guard position is. I think I'm watching just the whole position to see how they can handle it.
Paul, who do you got on Brooklyn?
You know what? It's kind of a tough team to choose. I want to see Jarrett Jack. I mean, I guess I'm a point guard guy. I want to see what he does. He's been given the key, essentially to the offense with Darren Williams gone. So it's his show. I'd like to see what he does this year. Not coming off the bench. Historically, he hasn't done as well in a take the keys starting role. So,
in Brooklyn, the Nets last year had so many different, veterans and obstacles they dealt with last year. So the guy I'm looking for is not actually a veteran. It's actually second-year guy, Bojan Bogdanovic. He's going to be taking over the shooting guard position, which allows Joe Johnson to move to small forward. The question is with Joe Johnson is how long he's going to be part of this team. We know that Joe Johnson is probably going to get moved pretty soon. So if Johnson is going to get moved, Bojan's that guy. He's going to have to be the guy. It's his second year in the league. And the good thing was when he played in the playoffs last year, he averaged over 10 points a game. And if you look at his numbers back in April, almost 15 points a game. He was shooting almost 49% from the three-point line. And he got so much better after the All-Star game. He started getting more comfortable, started getting more minutes. The shots started falling down. You can look at the difference. He shot 41% in the first half of the season, but shot 52% in the second half of the season. All the numbers across the board went up except for the free throw percentage. So I think Bojan's that guy you want to watch out for. In my opinion, it's a guy for the Nets that I'm looking at, if I'm watching on television or watching on League Pass. Paul, I'm going to let you lead this time around. Let's talk the Toronto Raptors. Who is the one guy in Toronto you're watching?
For me, it's got to be DeMar DeRozan. And I hate picking the stars. Usually, I like to pick guys that are kind of a little more obscure. But we got to really see some growth from DeRozan. I know he was injured, for a good portion of last season. But it's time to see if this kid can be a number one or if he's a number two. I mean, we got to see something from him. It's that time. Toronto has invested time into him. They've brought in Rudy Gay, shipped Rudy Gay out, trying to see what works best with him. It's time for him to either put up or shut up.
Interesting. Mark, who you got?
Shoot, for me, it's Kyle Lowry. If he's healthy, this team, goes a lot further than what they do when he's not healthy. The key is his health. He needs to be able to come in there. They have Corey Joseph backing him up now, and that's good. DeLon Wright, the draft pick. I think they have a lot of depth at that position, depth that they didn't have last year. But Lowry is the key. He has to stay healthy. I think if they can provide, the certain depth, with those guys I just mentioned, and he can doesn't have to run in overdrive during the regular season, I think he could be fresh for the postseason. And a lot's riding on him. I think, we got to see what he can do. And if he can do well, I think this team could do well.
Today I dropped the article on NBAFCPradio.com on the actual Toronto Raptors and the season preview of the Raptors. And for me, the guy to watch, Paul's taking DeRozan and, Mark being a Philly guy, of course, he took, Kyle Lowry. My guy is Jonas Valanciunas. The Lithuanian big man's shown so much flash and so much potential. There's moments where, if you watch him play in European ball, Mark, you watched him play in Eurobasket, this guy is dominating people. And there have been times in the NBA last season, in games last year, where he would just go, have these huge numbers.
Ask the Pistons.
Yeah, ask the Pistons. But then there are nights where Jonas Valanciunas goes completely missing, and you wonder if this guy's even on the roster.
Strangest thing I've seen, man.
Yeah, that's very puzzling. Just sometimes he shows up, and he's huge, and then other times you're looking in the milk carton, and you're just like, well, where is he? He's kind of hit or miss. You want to see him hit more. You want to see him play, more aggressive, and you want to see him do it more often. So we're going to have to see what happens with Valanciunas.
It's a strange thing for me, the way that when it came to Drummond and Monroe, he owned them. It was bad. Look at the stats last year if you don't believe me. Every time he played the Pistons, he showed out. And other games, he disappeared. It's strange because you would imagine that Andre Drummond would have a better hold on him than some of these other big men. But, he rises to the occasion. And you're right. If he steps up this year, it could be a big year for the Raptors.
To Paul's point, 20 points and 10 rebounds a game against the Pistons in 4 games last year. The one thing about Jonas is that Jonas has those moments where he just can get in foul trouble, and it's brutal. So I want to see if Dwayne Casey will show some confidence in him now, and give this guy more run at the center position. He only played 26 minutes a game last year, and for a guy that averaged 12 points and almost 9 rebounds a game in 26 minutes, he needs more time on the floor. Let's talk about the team that was the surprise team of the division. They made a midseason trade. They got Isaiah Thomas, and somehow the Boston Celtics made the playoffs. Now the team is back. The band's back together. So, Mark, if you're watching the Celtics, who are you watching?
I think I'm gonna start with Marcus Smart, the point guard. It's time for him to come around. He was excellent coming out of college. He had all the tools, to be, a guy who could be a potential standout at the point guard position in the NBA. Hasn't happened so far. A lot is expected from him, to lead, to score, to play defense. And I know they have Isaiah Thomas, and I know they have, a number of other guards, but he has to step up, and he has to step up big.
Marcus Smart's the second-year guy. Of course, he's that point guard. But for me, I'm going to go a little bit off the grid here. I think the guy to watch is David Lee. David Lee has a lot to prove. He was the guy in Golden State at the power forward position before Draymond Green even came on the scene. He spent last year, accepting his role as a bench player. He hasn't been healthy, and he's really trying to get that contract as the last part of his deal, and he wants to prove to people that he still can play. He averaged 14-9 for his entire career. Like I said, last year he came off injuries and really wasn't healthy, and you could tell in the playoffs his back wasn't the way it was. But I would love to see David Lee take emergence in that front court because in the past you look at guys like, Jared Sullinger and you have Zeller and you have Olynyk. They're solid players, but none of them have taken a stranglehold in that front court. So I think David Lee being the experienced veteran, and he can play, he can shoot, he can do lots of different things. If he can rebound, Jared Sullinger becomes expendable very quickly. They can move Sullinger for another swing player. So that's the guy I'm looking at is David Lee. Paul, who do you got?
Well, for me, it's the young guys. It's James Young and Jordan Mickey. I know you asked